Hi friends, in this video I am going to explain about the hydrotest in oil and gas sector. So hydrotest is one of the most vital test in oil and gas. So in most of the interview for the mechanical team as well as the inspection team, they will ask about the hydrotest. So I want to explain about the hydrotest in detail regarding the interview in oil and gas. So don't skip my video and please friends subscribe my channel and share my videos to your friends so that they will get benefited. So what is hydrotest? What type of code and standard we are using in hydrotest? What is the procedure of hydrotest? What is the hydrotest kits equipments there? And what are the precautions we have to take during hydrotest? So first we will go what is hydrotest. Hydrotest is a test which are we are doing in equipment like heat exchanger, shell side or tube side, or in pipelines or in vessels. So most of the static equipments also we are performing. So this hydrotest we are doing more than 1.5 times of the working pressure. So in interview they will ask why we are using hydrotest should be more than 1.5 times of maximum allowable working pressure. Actually if you see the actual strength of the material is 3.5 times higher than the maximum allowable strength. So when a pressure test is performed at 1.5 times of the maximum allowable working pressure, there is still plenty of margin left in the design and it won't affect the system. So this is the reason we are using 1.5 times more than maximum allowable working pressure. So what code standard we are using in the hydro test? ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineering, B31.1 and B31.3 in code standard only we are doing this hydro test. So what all are the things available in the hydro test kit? So we have hydro test pump, manual pump or pressurization pump, fittings, hoses, pressure gauges, pressure safety valve. So and these all are the most connected system in the hydroset kit. So we are using water in hydrotest. So we cannot use randomly any water in the hydrotest. Whatever the requirement of the water only we have to do, and it should be properly chemical analyzed report we have to submit for the hydrotest during before performance. So in water analysis the chemistry they will check the pH and they will check the TDS total dissolved solids and TSS total suspended solids. So these all are the parameters they will check in the water and the parameter should be acceptable limit, then only the water will be admitted for the hydro test. So during the hydro test the inspection team is a vital role to, to check the witness of the hydro test and the execution team will perform this hydro test. So the pressure gauge already I mentioned you and the PSV I told you. The pressure gauge and PSU should be properly calibrated and should be in live calibration dates. Then only the inspection team will give approval for the hydro test to carry out. So hydro test, when we do the hydro test in field, so the important thing is work permit. So hydro test we have to take a separate work permit and we have to carry out, and HSE department will be there. HSE officer will be assigned there, and where we are doing the hydro test, there we will put a barrier band. So in the barrier band, other than this execution team who is performing the hydro test, no one will be allowed inside. Even after hydro test, the pressurized also, the executing team should be little far from the barrier. So once we filled the water inside the pipeline or heat exchanger, shell side or tube side, after filling, we will pressurize the water to the maximum allowable working pressure, 1.5 times in the system, and we will hold the pressure there. And in the pressure gauge, for example, 75 bar we pressurized. After 75 bar, in the pressure gauge, one small masking tape they will paste and they will mark in the 75 bar. And the inspection team they will say what is the time interval to hold. Minimum 10 minutes or maximum, it depends upon their inspection requirement. Maximum 2 hours also they will give the requirement. So during this, there should not be any a single drop. The hold up pressure should be constant at 75 bar, means it should be constant. Then only the pressure test is perfect. And this hydro test should be carried out by a very skilled team, because any over pressurization of the hydro test or improper way of hydro test, it chance to bursting also. So what are the troubleshootings we are facing in the hydro test? So the water we admitted to the pipeline or the heat exchanger, as I mentioned, the tube or shell side, whatever the water when we admitted, it should be pressurized inside. Whatever the air pockets, it should be properly released, because air is compressible. If air mixed with this water, the hydro test we will not get a correct reading, it will show the false reading also. So for that only we have vent valve in the higher elevation. So during this venting, all the air pockets will be released. So after ensuring the air pockets released and water little overflow coming, then the vent valve they will close. So this hydro test is very important in oil and gas sector. During any interview, they will ask, the interviewer will ask, can you explain about the hydro test procedure? So we have to draw whatever I explained you. We have to draw with the hydro kit, that hose, manifolds, and the headers, and the vent valve, drain valve, and pressure gauge and PSV. So what, how it was interconnected, how we are pressurization. So after hydro test, how we will depressurize this water. So these all are the most important thing in interview. So in next section, I will explain you about another useful information of oil and gas. Please subscribe my channel and share to your friends. This session will be very useful and you will be get highly benefited. Thank you so much friends.